There we go. That was weird. Don't know why I did that. Don't know why I decided to not work at all, ever. Oh well. That's fine. That's fine. So, howdy ho. No, I wasn't playing Bayonetta a second ago. I wasn't. You didn't see anything. It's not. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So hi, howdy, hello. We are playing Ace Attorney today, and we are in this room. The one that where's the bench? We already talked to the bench already. Okay, you missed the bench. I'm sorry. You missed the bench. That was last time. But yeah, we've got it going on. We just recently talked to the bench, and we finished up investigating Soseki. Was it Soseki Natsume? Oh, there he is. See, he's right there. Bench. I'll talk to him for you, Olivia. I'll talk to Bench for you. All right. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, so true. To be or not to be? That is indeed the question, Mr. Naruhodo. To be or not to be brushed off, that is the question, and the answer is all too clear. Let's leave Mr. Sholmes in peace, shall we? There you go. You got your bench. You got your bench in there. All right. Where to? Prison, I guess? So, last time we talked to the people in the Garadeb's room. Oh, wait, that was his wife. Oh. Oops. I didn't know that. I mean, they were talking about her being a maid, but I don't remember anything about them being married. There's so much going on here. Okay, so I'm thinking we're gonna go to the prison and tell Natsume we talked to Sholmes. Maybe? I don't know. Aha! Triggered it. Triggered the cutscene. Cool. 19th of February, local prison, cell 9. It seems that we can't meet with Mr. Natsume at the moment. Ah, damn it. Ah, damn it. He's being briefed about his appearance in court tomorrow, apparently. I see. Also, I did turn on one-day chat just because I'm not sure about stuff. Let's switch. Okay, so let's do this. Olivia, you're on duty in case anything happens, okay? You got it? You got it? Good. I'm just assuming that you've got it. Yes, the trial is only a day away. Alright then, let's come back later. Yes. I really hope he's not answering any more questions with inappropriate textbook answers like, yes, I do. Okay, so he's not here. Let's go back to Sholmes' place. Nothing. Alright. Garradeb's room? Let's just go through everything. Why don't we? Oh, alright, here we go. 19th of February, Mr. Garradeb's room. Ah, you pair again. I gotta remember what voice I gave him, because I don't remember. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forgot his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Ah, yes, rings of eight battle. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joe. Now then. Oh, oopsie. Okay. They do look like the sun and the moon. I didn't even notice that. I just knew he had a moon face. Or moon hair. That was about it. For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're ballywell doing? I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourself. Been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garradeb is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. While he is right there, just start looking? How about this? That's clearly on the floor. Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, sure. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from you. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Ahem. Ahem. Maybe let's not, Miss Susato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Okay, alright. I love this man. I love him. What's he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes? Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean Mr. Sholmes? There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo. I think so. There is just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Alright, dude. Alrighty, dude. Mr. Garradam. Though it would seem you're a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon. The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Oh. Okay. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Oh man, unbelievably. It seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How? How could you possibly? How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. And I know only too well the wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again. Oh boy, this again. How wrong is he going to be? Very. Probably. Okay, nature of the beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. The fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Oh, where are you looking? Ah. For a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garradam, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant in here is revealed by a lion statue. No, it's not. It's something else. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What? What are you talking about? Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well... Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For, protruding from it, is a handbill advertising a circus show. Oh, it's so cute, right? I love the animation. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garradam. At Batty's Circus, a travelling show, currently sojourning in a nearby park. I've observed the tents. you solved the savage lion search at the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I've made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Alright, buddy. Interesting. Sure. Aftermath. Alright. Now, Mr. Garrett, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Okay. Indeed, in that blind pose, the distress that this loss has caused you is veritably tangible, if I can speak correctly. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man. I simply... But what? We must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for your payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. So you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can clearly be seen by observing the carpet over there. Oh, so it's a candle. So he set it on fire? Okay. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. What are you talking about? Dumbass. There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain nobleman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake. Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction, carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Walked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. You dumb piece of garbage. The teeth marks on the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. No, you didn't. You sure didn't. Carpet not on by the starving lion. Okie dokie, Smokey. Sure. As if there was not a candle right next to the damage. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. Sure, dude. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, me too.
What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrett. I'm afraid I didn't notice.
My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too.
Oh.
Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Narahono. What is it again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well?
But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and his maid would have been hurt.
Or worse. That's where he was stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus.
And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea.
Ah, my dear Miss Susato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea.
Oh, what a glorious notion.
Sure.
Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again.
I had a feeling that was coming.
A slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it.
Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward. Alright, sure. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes's Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Alright, buddy boy. Hold it right there, you little dingle-dangle. A rampaging lion. Okay. Alright, so there was a rampage or something happened that broke the dishware. That's correct. That's fine. We're faced with the question, what form might the beast take? He looks up, but not at the line. For a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Oh, wait a minute. Was it Natsume's cat? It's not this. That's for sure. Wrong. Incorrect. I really didn't see the lion thing coming.
No, but if you observe Mr. Garrideb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in the room.
Yes. Something with a very fierce nature.
But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India.
So, what was it then?
We must follow Mr. Garrideb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer.
Mortar shells. Because he, like, looked over... Oh, wait. What is that? Is that his wife? That's really cute, though. What's this photograph?
It appears to be for Mr. Garrideb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he?
He does. But you can't make out his bride.
No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face.
I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. Huh. So it's the lady. Huh. Is there anything else in here? I mean, that's the only thing that looks important. But there's nothing about it. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here. Is it the wife? Is the maid not the wife? Is he cheating? Hold on. Let's check out the mortar shells. These are shells for the cannon, are they? What a strange place to keep them. I imagine they have some significance to Mr. Garrideb. From his time in the army. Blah, blah, blah.
Of course, he mentioned a battle list before, didn't he?
Do you remember?
He said that he'd been shot in the knee. Perhaps it was one of these that hit him?
If a round that size had hit his knee, there'd be nothing left of it. Or Mr. Garrideb, for that matter. Mr. Sholmes is a Persian slipper. This man has spent shells. Perhaps it's customary in Britain to display, well, rubbish on the mantelpiece. Okay. Anything else on here that... Okay, so I guess the only thing is this. Maybe? I'm gonna
Take
try
that!
Oh, no, okay. Okay, so it's not the wife. Yep, jumping to conclusions. I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. Okay, I think he looked towards the mortar shells then. Is that a destructive creature? He looked at the direction of something that gives its identity away. It's not the lion statue. Or the picture of his wife. What else could there be? The mortar shells? Actually, let me look at the lion statue in general. Well, this is the lion statue that Mr. Sholmes picked out.
Yes, I wonder. Perhaps if you did live with a lion, it would prove to be a rather sweet companion.
I think that's like a mouse trying to tell its family that the cat around the house is sweet.
I suppose it is a bit of a flight of fancy, isn't it?
Anyway, the beast we're looking for is something else. Let's have a good look around. I don't see anything else apart from the mortar shells. So let's try this. No. What am I missing? Interesting. Alright. So, not the lion statue. Not the picture. Not the mortar shells. What else is there? Lion statue. Okay, what am I missing? What am I missing? Can't go up and down, so it has to be something in view. Can I... Oh, I can present people. The beast that has run rampant here. Okay, so you can't see who she is. So, did he do it? Because she wouldn't have... no. You. No, it's the what? What? Ay, ay, ay. So the bride did it to the own picture? Like, We're dumb today, kids. So the only thing left is her. Is this newlywed bride. Huh. Okay, so this woman did it. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Thanks, bud. I feel the sting of sarcasm. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garadem. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms, and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. I kinda love that. Oh, indeed. Surely, any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Garadeb. Oops. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam?
Me?
I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in her direction. It gives us a handsome clue to the beast's whereabouts.
Poor fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself.
Well, I don't know about fragile.
Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Mrs. Garadeb anywhere.
But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garadeb's wife could be. It is her. She. Oh! Wedding ring. You are the wife! Surprise! You're the wife. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. Damn. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garadeb's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garadeb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garadeb herself. We got you. I don't... 'Cause she's the sun to his moon. Y'all, that's something, you know? That's a something.
Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a barleycorn. Ah!
Yeah, you tell him. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct?
It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ.
Yes, here in London one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though, in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garadeb has a wife? Or has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garadeb?
Only in company, obviously. But listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please.
The raging wife of Mr. Garadeb.
She ate the carpet.
God damn it. Now, Mr. Garadeb. It is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrideb's wife a beast.
Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable.
But Mrs. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he?
Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify? Oh! He got slapped!
Oh my, look at that bright red mark! Gosh, that's quite something. And clearly made by somebody's hand.
Yes, Mr. Garrideb has been slapped on the face, it seems. Hard.
I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing?
Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I'd say.
Take that!
That slapped cheek. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, a deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade was you, Madame Joan Garrideb.
Well, yes.
You've been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Face me, coward!
How the blazes? How did you work that out, man?
Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us, even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a rage. Okay, they're looking over there. Follow the gaze. Pile of bills. Not exactly, no. So it's something else that's over in this direction. Now we've established that the lion never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food, Mr. Garrideb's... Oh, wow, she's a person, not a thing. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact.
Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder?
I'd love to know the answer to that question. Bookmark. Okay, what is the bookmark? Ooh, what is this? There's a kiss on it.
Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here. Look.
Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark.
Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary.
And look, next to the signature here.
Lip marks made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate, romantic gesture.
Don't get any ideas, Susato-san.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
So, this bookmark is actually a love note then. I think it's this love note, perhaps.
Take that!
Got it. Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment. Oh!
But I don't know the bally woman.
You don't know her?
That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you see. That's right. That's what I've been saying.
A likely story.
Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place, and that note must already have been in there.
So, the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark.
That's right. That's what I've been saying.
A likely story.
For heaven's sake, woman! Look at the name! It's written to James! My name, in case you've forgotten, is John!
A likely story.
Are you questioning my name now?
Oh my god. And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable. The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so she didn't eat it. What could have caused it? The candle. Okay, you're wandering eye. Cakes. Which is wrong. It's so very, very wrong. It's the candle.
But surely Miss Garrett didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt. The state of disarray in this room is
The state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper.
No, that's true. So, this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. We need only to follow Mrs. Garrett's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer.
Alright, let's see what we can do. See what we can see. Let's see. Canaddle. That canaddle.
And according to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, the tears match those made by an Indian lion's teeth exactly.
Oh, look here.
What is it?
If you look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks.
Oh, yeah, so you can. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense at all.
Let's rethink this with that in mind. Candlestick. It's missing a canaddle.
Take that!
Yes. To explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow. And of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of the ferocious attack, in which the carpet was devoured, are clearly visible. Indeed, they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give away the truth. Scorch marks. It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garrett's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room is in flames. Yes. For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So, you see, there's but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Oh.
Mr. Sholmes, I salute you.
I love her. Look at her. Queen. Queen. Girl boss. Aw, man. I'd let her beat me up. Mrs. Joan Garadev, you can punch me as much as you want. I love her. Oh, she's so good.
It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, Nessa, yeah. I said what I said.
Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. All my old novels there.
And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems.
Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather close to the mark. And beast is most certainly not.
Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor?
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old Styx rage and the raging flames.
You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining.
That's sympathy for you.
It didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being.
Over there, Mr. Garadev?
Well, you've nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me.
What's back there?
Yeesh. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There I was, backed up against the window in a heavy enemy fire, incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride.
The Lion's Pride? Ah yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through there.
I assure you the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest.
So, the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again. Actually, no. He was wrong. It can only be described as a great British wonder.
I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in full fettle.
Out of interest, what time of day was this?
Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think.
So at exactly the same time as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing.
Oh, really?
Okay, I guess they were really into this spat of theirs. Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo.
What can I do for you?
Well, I think we've gotten to the bottom of Mr. Garadeb's situation now. But what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances?
I can't help you there, I'm afraid.
What?
My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not.
I just knew you were going to say that!
Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not.
That makes no sense to me.
Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now.
Sorry?
Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over.
Oh no! Is it that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to,
Bum, bum, bum. So, that's it. No more time to think.
Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now? I must prepare supper for Mr. Garadeb.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry.
Thank you both very much for your time.
Soseki-san will be waiting for us. I'm going to have to give him an answer. Yeah, sorry, bud. Not up to it. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can help you. I'm sorry. 11th of February, Briar Road. Wait, I did go to the. Oh, let's hail a car. Oh,
What's the matter?
looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garadeb's house. You're pink! You're pink as hell! You are really goddamn pink. Okay, I know you had pink, you both had a little red. Who are you? What voice do I give this person? I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. That's the voice.
Who are you calling an old man, you rum-looking nimny-pimny?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
Who is this Horatio fella, eh? What are you on about?
Excuse me.
What the... Who are you now?
I'm sorry. It just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see.
A lawyer. What?
If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I've studied English law.
Fine. I'll be on my way for today. But you mark my words. This ain't over yet.
Get thee to a nunnery!
Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you?
Osiris's rival. Yeah, that's exactly who that is. What was his name? I don't remember. It began with a D, though.
I do hope you're not injured.
Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, that are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either.
Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? In the Garadeb residence?
Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garadeb mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Oh, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Who more worthy a palmist in my battle of words now could there be? Sorry, battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see.
I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least.
So fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. Okay, bye. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. Desmond MacArthur. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. I wrote it down somewhere. I just don't remember where I wrote it down. With Soseki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garadeb house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go find a carriage.
Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return.
Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Oh boy, here he is again. 19th of February, 6:31 p.m. Local prison cell 9. Hello, we're back.
Oh, it's you. You're here, you came. locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched.
We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, no. Think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing friend. Because that just sounds racist. Oh, now, let's not get carried away.
Oh, I quite agree. There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's need. Oh, no. On the other hand, oh, it's you. It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates this fact. Such is my belief, at least.
It's you. The miserable, rotten spy, Sherlock Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I've no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny.
Yeah, you! How dare you, Sherlock Sholmes? I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is be damned.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean? And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Tell me about your cursed trial. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed?
Oh, no. Why? Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it.
Oh, I see. That's really agitated him.
You don't mean... The trial really is cursed somehow.
Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey?
The Reaper? Oh, no. What do you mean? Please tell me, summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words.
No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever.
Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly.
Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances.
Mr. McGilded.
What?
I'm impressed, Miss Susato. You've an eye for detail.
Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us.
Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself.
Oh no, he couldn't have, surely.
You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes, why of course he is.
Of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me?
It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on
earth do you mean by that? The Reaper. Van Zieks is quite an exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception.
Ah, that's good.
Soseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy.
As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system, whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion, in particular, is somewhat easily manipulated.
Right.
Criminals and corporate lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail.
But it means the wrong verdict can be passed.
And sadly, is from time to time, my dear lady. It is simply the reality of the situation.
And that's all right?
However, those indicated by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed.
Oh my.
Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within moments they all disappear. It is most striking.
Disappear? But how?
Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Or perhaps attacked by highwaymen.
No.
All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Navarro.
Uh-oh.
I knew it. I'm a dead dodo done for doomed.
It's okay, we'll help you. You're not entirely doomed. We're still here. When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garreteb's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed?
It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself.
That didn't take long, then.
Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away.
You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time.
I've had to move a number of times. Most recently to that room on Briar Road, a week ago now.
Yes. Why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient.
The rent is cheap. I've so little money it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place."
Yes, well said.
But it was true. It was all true.
You mean the room really is cursed, then?
Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I wake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. In my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits.
Cursed by being near an actor. The biggest curse of them all.
If there was someone, if only there was someone, just one person at my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart or their heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all.
To believe.
Yes, to believe. To believe.
Why?
Mr. Sholmes?
Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you?
It's about the case on the SS Borea, if you recall.
The Borea. Ah, that case. The one with the snake.
Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect. But you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate.
I did I? Interesting.
What I want to know is why. Why did you believe me?
I see, yes. You mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room?
Well, if you like, yes.
I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow.
It's quite simple, really.
You said, I didn't do it.
But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little.
I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing you, nor in that which you were telling me.
What?
You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in.
What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The situations can hang as far as I'm concerned.
But I could have betrayed your trust.
In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Believe in the me that believes in you. I love this moron. That's the thing, right? Right, Olivia? You know that. You know that thing. You know that, the thingy thing. Meaning? Whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. Thank you, Canada. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself.
Yes, he's right. He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
Whether or not I can believe myself.
A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. Your Honor, they're gay. You were so right, Kazuma. Was he? Was he right? I don't know. Ghost boyfriend! Ghost boyfriend! Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe.
Already?
Yes, already. Visiting hours are over. The guard will be in here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me?
Oh dear. There's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume? If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow,
I'd be happy to represent you.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was represented was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial.
Something crucial?
What to believe in. The defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I've finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else. To trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. My instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So, I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow.
As I said when we first met, I I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue.
Of course, Mr. Natsume. Those eyes. I fell in love with those eyes. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey. He said the thing. But I got there in the end. Mr. Sato? Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. Hell yeah. We're doing it. If you don't win this case, you should defend this man with your boyfriend's sword. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Soseki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him. To fight his corner. Or I guess in his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. To be continued. Hell yeah. We're doing it. It's court time. I'm also gonna eat some mashed potatoes because I'm still hungry. Court time, baby. Hell yeah. That was a huge for Kazuma. Hell yeah. We're gonna do it. Your Honor, you're gay. 20th of February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? We are on a study tour of Great Britain, with the intention of learning the court's legal practices, or the country's legal practices, I should say. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court. And it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning. Good morning. Ah, Mr. Natsume, good morning. Oh dear, are you all right? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, look soon, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh. Neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Mr. Sato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So, that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it?
Lord Van Zeeks? Is that right, Mr. Sato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday.
Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he?
A trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeeks' return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGillen. Ugh, what a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's.
But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country.
Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon, for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they are all speculating various answers.
Mundane? Mundane? It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us.
Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it.
Well, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Oh boy. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago.
Yes, I agree.
Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It's you.
Me? Well, I suppose that's true.
Both times it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper.
Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck. Well, schmiz.
Sucks to suck, I guess.
Thanks for that.
Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive!
Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student, new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills, or luck, but I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end. And I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, benevolent locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side.
Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant, Miss Miko Toma Inquiris, or Esquires, I can't read. I am in your debt forever. I shall never forget this great... Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once.
All right then, Mr. Natsume. It's time. Let's go.
Yes.
Here we go.
This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma.
I told you it's a do it for him poster.
Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight.
Ghost boyfriend. Ghost boyfriend. 20th of February, 10 o'clock a.m. on the dot. Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, Kazuma, we're really in it now. Oh, there are new people in the jury panel? Okay.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord.
Hello, Santa. God, you're a goddamn racist.
Sorry, what? Did you just say something racist?
Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. In fact, you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur.
Do you have a point?
Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical arrogance.
Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. And stop being fucking racist.
Susanto-san.
After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent.
Blink, coward.
Very true. And a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too.
No reason to be racist, Gothman.
The tragic conclusion came later, of course. He is to be acquitted, and his unfortunate, violent end.
Are you allowed to drink while working? No. No, you're not. Illegal. Wait, hold on. Is Joan Garadeb on the jury? Hold on. She's totally in the middle of the jury council. That's illegal. Wait, she's biased. What's going on here? Get out of my sandwich. What?
Thank you, counsel. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public?
It's you! You freaking man? Fairplay? Yeah, it's Bruce Fairplay.
You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone.
Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear.
Oh, you too? It's the Hat Man. It's Lady First, right?
Oh, well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow.
And then it's just Joan.
I'm afraid to say I think it's quite possible that mustache foreigner did the deed.
Come on, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anyway. Sorry, didn't quite catch that.
This jury is rigged. This is such a rigged jury.
Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeeks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume.
What kind of kangaroo court?
And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably the kindness has not been returned. In fact, this student is accused of a most sinister act. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. Knife crime! I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath they are.
Just look at that salad complexion and short stature. He's one of those.
You're a fucking racist too. Why are you racist?
Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Hey, sorry, didn't quite catch that.
What is this?
Pray forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please.
Oh, it's Gregson. Hi, Gregson. I hate this man. Me too.
Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be? having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since.
What? So they don't even know who she is for sure? Fishman Gregson!
Comatose, I see. But her life is not in danger. Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector. Sir, if I can ask everyone to look at the street map.
Okay.
As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for
Horse-drawn carriages.
horse-drawn vehicles.
Horse-drawn carriages.
It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street.
Singing do-a-diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-dum.
Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back.
Stop itching.
Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file of everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please.
The case file has been entered into the court record. Ba-ba-da-ba-da.
What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back.
Ouch. That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman.
Even the scragged-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. A common or garden jackknife, I would say, rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence.
The jackknife has been entered in the court record. Huzzah.
Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. I'd imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord. I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment toward the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes! Yeah? If theft and grievance have been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Objection!
You just hit somebody in the audience.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery, but your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here.
What?
Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the student.
The Japanese student.
Yes, sir.
That's assault! It is assault. In a court of law, believe it or not. Mr. Natsume's arrest.
As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred. And there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed onto the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor, those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to. We found the bloke to arrest him.
Okie dokie smoky.
Old books, you'll say? Yes, my lord. have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident.
Are you sure those aren't her books? Huh. Interesting.
Ah, yes, I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector.
The crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record. Why are you so goddamn racist? I hate him so much.
Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Well, Forgive me, Lord Van but why the fuck are you so racist? But the defendant is not denying everything, as he put it.
What are you doing, Miss Susato? Do go on.
Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo?
She looks remarkably not bloody for a stab victim. You're right.
Well, now that you mention it, when we visited him in prison yesterday, he did tell us what had all happened.
As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman, wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from her, so I ran, as fast as my legs could carry me back to my accursed lodgings. A green overcoat.
Well, that's exactly what the woman in this print is wearing. Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What will the world come up with next?
To the defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean that he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time. Just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there was nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. It seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please.
Zeke stabbed her. God, I wish.
Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance.
Alrighty. Let's take a look-see at what we've got here. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Is that in here? Oh no, this is just... Okay, nothing in there about the fog. Von Karma Redux. I mean, where's the lie, though? Visibility was reasonably good. And there was no one else but the victim and the accused. Okay. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor, those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Okay, the picture of Monsieur Lecoq, a meal for Gabreau and Canterbury yearnings. Are those the books here? Don't know. Okay. Actually, let me investigate the knife. Huh. There's no tip on this blade.
Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just take a tip.
Sorry, I had to do it.
The small pieces of blade appears to be missing.
You're right. Well spotted, Miss Susato.
I wonder what could have happened to it.
Yes. You don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you?
rendered unconscious. Alright, let's, I guess, just start pressing. An unusually light fog. Cecil said the knife looks super dull. It does look super dull. That's kind of weird.
Hold it!
Alright, let's go through this. A light fog, you say?
Well, I'm from London. You can see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much fun, though.
That's light, is it?
Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course.
I've read that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance.
How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something that Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate.
A pocket butter knife.
I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your hand at the end of your arm. Indeed. The other day I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling.
Susanto-san, I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen.
However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused.
There's no one else but the victim and the accused.
Hold it!
How are you able to state that with any certainty?
Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us.
Yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard.
That is correct, Mom.
Then we must hear their testimony.
The prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary.
But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter? It would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen.
I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights.
Right.
The prosecution believes there would have been an ample light by which to witness the crime. Quite. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness.
Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to.
It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector.
Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and collapsed on the pavement.
Hold it!
Yep. From behind, you say?
That's right, as you can see from this print. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in critical condition, comatose no less? I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's being treated at Bart's. I was hopeful that she'd come round before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own accounts of the event. Luck's on your client's side, it seems.
Oh, no. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky.
Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid.
Yeah. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor.
Hold it!
Mr. Natsume's belongings?
I think you'll find it all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. Yes, the 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books, they were. Irreparably damaged Had to follow him in the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example.
He's very clever, isn't he?
What do you mean?
He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there.
You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back? That must be what happened, my lord. Yes.
Those being a number of old books he'd just bought.
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis.
Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature.
I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention.
The black's room was stacked full to ceiling with those musty old books.
Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector?
Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid.
Urban books.
The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings in this place is this place here, Bourbon Books.
Is that your books? He wasn't there. He didn't go to Bourbon.
A little place in the corner of Briar Road and Mearstrom Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end, which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home.
Ah, so we're gonna go after the route. Cause I bet he went a different way.
Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop.
Mr. Naruhodo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance.
Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being the bookshop's name. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor?
What?
Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance.
Maybe.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, yes, it could be a very important clue.
I love him. So good.
Very well. Not that I can see it of being of any great significance, but please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say.
Could the man be any more sardonic?
Okay, so he was on his way home from Bourbon Books. Incorrect. He was on his way home from
Objection!
your books.
If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson.
What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know.
This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books.
And you found that in the accused's room, did you?
Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it.
Go on.
This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books.
Your Books? Y-O-R-E, I presume.
Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books.
What? Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have...
Objection! But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves...
Objection!
What do you want?
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchases musty terms, it makes no difference in the final... Objections! I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the street map here, if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please.
If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, this is such a mouthful, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true?
My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility.
Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right.
Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment?
Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books is just here, the next corner of Mearschon Street. The local map's information has been updated in the court record. There you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. My learned friend is obviously in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus.
You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you.
I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed.
Yes, thank you, Inspector.
I just witnessed a murder. Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, friend. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Oopsie doopsie.
As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try.
What did I say, eh? I've had enough of this now.
Beg your pardon. Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that?
Mr. Larock, we mustn't give up.
What? What do you mean?
If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty.
Ah, she's absolutely right.
We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully.
He claims Soseki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from Your Books. He could have gone a different way. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Explain yourself, counsel.
Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from Your Books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. There's so much broken glass in this courtroom. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way round. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings, and is the obvious perpetrator.
Objection!
Aha! Yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I've already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection.
That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside, wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home.
Okay. I don't believe this!
I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors?
But even if that is the case,
I agree with Lord Van Seeks, wholeheartedly and in every way.
what? I don't believe it. Does this mean...
We members of the jury are completely convinced now. Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty!
Oh. What?
No. Not yet. This isn't over yet.
I do need a drink. These voices are hurting me. My throat.
I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow.
Those are the eyes of Quarry, not yet willing to give up and die. So, I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago.
Call it antiquated if you will. But it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses.
Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that whippersnapper and his onkus refusal to throw in his alley. Very well, then.
This onkus man, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you've determined the defendant to be guilty.
And then we'll beat them up. All of them. In court. With my bare fists. The juror's contentions.
For pity's sake, that little oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he?
If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why can it only have been the victim?
The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. Not in winter.
So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful.
I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing.
New York books, yes, I shall that.
Urban books? No, not worth a visit.
What point was that last one? That made absolutely no sense.
With only minor exceptions, the reason for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear.
That last guy, what the hell?
When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused himself,
has admitted to seeing the victim in a green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes.
Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already.
The last guy thought they were voting on which is the better bookshop. I bet he did, honestly.
Oh dear. Even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now.
Ugh, why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe it's some phantom attacker that nobody can see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense?
Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue...
Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them, at least.
Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward.
Alrighty, let's go. Let's go. I just need to keep this trial going somehow, whatever it takes. Come on, Ryunosuke. You can do it. Alright. Jury examinations. So what do we got? He admitted it himself. He said that a woman in green collapsed over his eyes. The man wouldn't have got around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. Was the poor woman attacked from behind? I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. Okay, let's start with the books. Mr. Natsume's guilt. Okay, some of their opinions are rather subjective. It's the irrelevance of what some of them are saying that says it should be this way. Still, at least some of their assertions don't actually incriminate Mr. Natsume of anything. That's something. Okay, so let's do the books first. I'll pit them mercilessly against each other. Okay, so pit. The man would have gone around his house. Not worth a visit.
Objection! Hold it!
What? What do you mean it's nonsense? I'm a banker, educated man. Okay, so can I press them? I guess I can. So let's... Then I can decide which the contradictions really lie, if there are any.
Hold it!
When?
Excuse me, but aren't you...
Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago.
Yes, I had a feeling on your face.
Or the side of it, anyway. Hello, hello!
If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you?
How, well, the objections they're going. It's happening.
That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to...
Came back to London to work.
And it was all going swimmingly until you started fossicking around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute.
Sorry?
Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young Hannah pegged as criminals.
Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge.
And there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around. And the police have been badgering me non-stop.
If I could turn back the clock...
Well, anyway, I don't know about the Hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't.
Yeah, this is a biased jury.
Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind, given our awkward history. Oh dear. I wonder what's become of Mr. First now.
Well, he's sitting 2 seats over. That also doesn't make any sense.
You're right that at the time of the incident,
The defendant admits to having seen someone wear a green overcoat walking ahead of him.
Well, quite. That's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly, that funny little man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit.
But let us not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman.
Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward, honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes.
But if that's a lie as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds?
Wow, everyone in this courtroom is racist. I hate it. I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it.
I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could possibly have committed this awful crime. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord.
That went well for her. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back.
Hold it!
But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books.
Oh yes, like you drew on the map, you mean? Was that it? Calabash Road or something?
Precisely.
But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not.
Well, yes, that's true.
And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there?
Well, yes, that's true as well.
And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he?
Well, yes, that's annoyingly true.
Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible.
Well, yes. Why is all this true?
So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road.
I'm supposed to be convincing you here.
I've given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone the Calabash Road way, it'd be different. I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honest, I would.
Reason why Soseki-san might have taken the longer way home.
Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one.
Oh, these are tough. The poor woman was attacked from behind.
Hold it!
Whatever's the matter, young man?
You're the wife of Mr. Garrett, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume his room?
The master's wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid. The maid, you understand?
Just keeping up that charade? This is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you've been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean.
Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice.
I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now.
And in that time, surely he must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this?
Oh my goodness me, yes. He's just the sort.
What?
Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room, sporting that unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks. And don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard that, people think he must be building a bomb or something.
And he's not. He's reading and hanging out with a cat.
Dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm. Nothing more.
Well, you just call him a worm, so... Anyway, you better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She said enough damning things already.
Hold it!
Man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes.
Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so's my family's. The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a labourer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat.
Thank you. I'm doing my best.
And neither do the wife and kids.
Oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, these water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right and centre. We're after cheap labour to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn till dusk, it is.
So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just round the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was.
What? Another coincidence?
That's right. Meerstrom Street it was.
Meerstrom Street. On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please.
What's the point in that? Can't we just get this business over with now?
Please, sir, it's important.
Fine. I'll do it then.
On the day it happened, I was digging up Meerstrom Street. Okay, so we can pit you against... He wouldn't have gone around the houses.
Objection!
Gotcha.
Those 2 statements are clearly at odds with one another.
At odds, counsel. Explain yourself.
Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear.
What? I just wanted to get this done and dusted.
Well, juror number 3. Oh, Misa? What do you mean? Juror number 5's words just now were extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implication of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Meerstrom Street, making it impassable, which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Meerstrom Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course. What do you think, sir?
Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way.
So the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings.
Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose that might be right, eh?
Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord Mr. Judge, sir, if I may.
Yes?
I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see the trial continue, so we can get to the bottom of what really happened.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Jordan.
What about you, sir?
Who, me? Well, alright then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, it should be filled in. That's what I say.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, we're doing it. Okay, we need 2 more.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful. Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds at least.
It strengthened our position somewhat, if I can speak any words.
Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if only, if we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. We might be able to tip the balance completely.
Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Man, Zeeks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to present, by whatever means we have at our disposal. Say no. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay. So let's talk to you.
Hold it! Sorry, fold it, you say? Fold what?
No, what I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often?
I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question?
Well, I was picking out books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
Just before 5, you say? Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time?
Oh yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry, not after the dreadful time I had.
What do you mean?
Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and dumped my head. It's always worst after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I really thought my number was up.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road?
That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant.
Sorry, extremely sick. No, I'm quite all right now.
I love him. I love this old man. You've changed 2 of the jurors' minds. Yeah. 2 more to go. Deliver the finishing blow now. It's time to turn the tables here. Wish I knew how to do a Susato takedown. I suppose words will have to suffice for now. Okay, so... collapsed before his eyes. And... okay. So the collapsing one... and her.
Objection!
Because she could have slipped. Those 2 statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning.
A flaw? What are you talking about, counsel?
Well, juror number 2? Juror number 6? My, whatever you do mean, sir. I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable! It's not like I was loud or anything. There is at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of secondhand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man said he had no recollection of his return journey.
That's correct.
But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat. Suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, we are all well aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Can we really be sure of that, madam? My, whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard juror number 6 account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood. Oh my. Oh, it was him. My goodness. You mean? That's right. I'm referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today? That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that. My goodness me.
I'm sorry. You need a pee?
You need a pee.
And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell.
On Calabash Road.
Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly the crime scene on Briar Road, where the woman was stabbed, was not on his way home.
We got them.
You idiot old man. If you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming around there, we'd have boxed this off hours ago.
And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat?
What did you just say to me? It is a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days, Is it a crime to slip over on the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it?
My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but
You'd like to change your leaning, I presume?
I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you. And I would too.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind? Is it?
Oh, we did it. Boom.
Well, that summation examination has concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The ayes 2, the noes 4. So the noes have it. Not guilty, they say, which means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Oh, jeez, you again. Can I help you? Simple and clean. Or not.
Could it seem careless of me to drink from my hallowed chalice, moments after raising an objection, only to crush it in disgust? Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks? It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer.
What evidence?
Objection! I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed. Stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claimed. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement, which you had excavated, so... That's right. Took me the whole day and they paid me a measly tuppence for it. Now, my learned friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no.
2 yards is a little less than 2 meters.
Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Would you not agree, my stalwart friend? Yep, me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no.
What? What? He's not British.
And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your words? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway. We just turn away any gentlefolk back. We turn any gentlefolk back when they come. Kids just jump right over us all the time. The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town.
Is that true? Is it?
The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There could be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road. Crushed in a single sentence, and ultimately Cold man? You can talk?
You say that around 5 o'clock on the day in question, you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious-looking person behind you at the time?
Oh, I can't say I remember.
Don't remember? How about a wager, my young friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw. But I would lay 1,000 against you being able to prove it.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. We're back here again, are we? Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself.
My lord, if you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not proffer it during the summation examination? I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and they've been reached, I feel. Okay. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What? What are you talking about? My lord. The prosecution requests permission to call its next witness to the stand. Granted. Bailiff, bring forth the witnesses. Its next witnesses?
Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident.
Yes, I remember. One of them one of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less.
I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness.
All right. No matter who Van Zeeks brings to the stand as his witnesses, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent, and I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over. Oh, boy. Okay. I am just going to say that since it is almost 11 o'clock, this is probably a good spot to save. And we can come back to this at a later time. I want to keep going, but it's almost 11. We are very close, so cliffhanger, right? A perfect cliffhanger for this. So we're just gonna continue from there on a hydrate. Thank you. I do. My throat be hurting a lot. Ouchie, ouchies. But let me save so we don't lose our spot. Okay. Cool. So, with that being said, thank you everybody for coming out to stream tonight. I hope you enjoyed what's going on in the game. I know I am enjoying it a lot. I love mystery games. I love Ace Attorney games, and it's so good to have a new one to play. I say this every time, but Ace Attorney games are just so much fun. I really love it. It's a good time. I do have some updates regarding stream, because there are a few things that are going to be shifting and changing around. Friday, I will not be streaming anything on this channel. I will be hosting the Thesperience Twitch channel, because we will be doing something over there, and I will be a part of the group that is doing something. We will be having about 10-minute long presentations about various things. And I will be doing a presentation called Heartful, Head Empty, The History of the Himbo. And if you want to see me break down the stereotype, the character profile, and the integration of the himbo in various forms of media, I definitely suggest coming out on Friday night to see himbo history, as well as a bunch of other really cool presentations that are going to be put out there for you, and it's going to be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. So I know Ness is going to be there, Casper's going to be there, Cecil, you're also going to be there, I believe. I think. I don't know. You are in that chat. Why am I forgetting that right now? I don't know. But it's going to be a lot of really good fun stuff. So if you like goofy presentations, I highly suggest coming on by to the Thesperians channel, or you can watch it here because I'll be hosting it here as well. And then the next Nexilus Clocked In stream will be on Monday, also on the Thesperians channel. So go and watch that. Our stuff is up on YouTube. It's all caught up from this past Monday. So if you haven't seen any of our most recent sessions, as well as the previous 2 sessions, because I think this was the 3rd one, you can find that on our YouTube channel, the Thesperians YouTube channel. It's should be in a folder, a playlist with all the episodes in there, or you can just kind of click around because there are a bunch of different stuff that we've already done up there as well. If you want to see our other D&D arcs and one-shots and mini campaigns and all that good stuff, all that good queer D&D, it's all up there for you to view. Tuesday, I'm not sure if there will be a stream because I will be preparing to leave for the rest of the week, because I will be taking a fun vacation away from work, away from all of that stuff. So I will be out of town for Wednesday until the following Wednesday. But if you, I guess, follow me on Twitter or follow anything in the Discord server for announcements, I will be posting stuff up if I'm streaming on Tuesday. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I don't know. But Monday is for sure going to happen, and Friday is for sure going to happen. So those are some cool streams that you can check in on when the time comes. They're going to be fun. Just trust me. They're really, really fun. Apart from that, I don't have any updates on things. So let's do some stuff. It is 10:59, almost 11 p.m. I'm going to be the dad here, and my dadly words of wisdom, what are they going to be? I have no idea. Let's see. Let's do... We haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to do a... No. That's not what I want. I'm going to do random... Let's do random wisdom generator. Random wisdom quotes. Okay, how many times should I press the button? Somebody give me a number between 1 and 10. Because I'll hit the button that many times. Boo, 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 boo. 8. 8. I saw 8 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I need another number, 1 or 2. 2. All right, so we have 2. So the quote, the random quote of wisdom is, don't flow with the river's currents. Instead, go where it doesn't and create your own. Don't go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I think that's a good one. I like that one. It's pretty good. I'll take it. Those are my words of wisdom. I think those are pretty nice. So, I know we haven't done this in a little bit because it's been, I don't know, just late or whatever, or my brain's been broken. But let's see. Who can we raid? Let's raid somebody today. Does anybody know of any friends or anything that are streaming that we can go hop in? I know Kami Anya's streaming Outer Wilds. Let's see. Dan's streaming Pokemon. Does anybody have any friends that are streaming currently that we can go hop in and goof around with? I mean, Kami Anya's a queer streamer, so let's go hang out with them. Let's do it. Let's go. I have no idea what Outer Wilds is, but we're gonna go hang out with Kami Anya. So with that being said, everybody, love yourself because I do. Raid runs to the TV to turn it down from 80. Yeah, probably a good idea. With that being said, love yourself because I do, and I will see people at the presentations on Friday. Peace out, everybody.
Anya. I'm a queer